Marketing expense, Lucy.
I need a line.
I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you for believing in Daniel and I's vision and what we're doing. You've all made an impact in one way or another. You've all made sacrifices to be a part of our journey. And it means more to me than you know. So, cheers. We won't take the shot yet. I'll let Daniel say what he's going to say.
Wait, take half. Okay, take half.
Wait. Wait.
Like Derek said, cheers to the first year in business. Each and every one of you is just as important to us as each and every one of you. We hope that like years from now we'll look back on this and everyone will still be here, plus a much bigger team. And you know, Derek and I will always remain the way we are. Like we'll never, like our goal is to never change who we are in this company and how we treat people, because it's important to us that we grow a company this way. Like he said, a lot of people made sacrifices to be a part of this company, and we value that because we also made sacrifices to be here. And this year has been amazing. Thanks to each and every single one of you, and cheers to that. So another 10x.
I can't reach up, but cheers. Oh God, I don't want to do this.
Here's a big shot.
That wasn't bad at all.
That was good.
I think it's a little chill.
That was good.
Product development, our main focus is apparel. And we like to go a little bit above and beyond for our clients. We kind of do everything. We like to try to educate them on the fabrics, the build quality of the garment, and then how to really like measure garments. Just so like, it honestly makes our job easier, because if we're communicating with them and we're like, hey, I want you to measure the HPS, AKA the body length or high point shoulder, they know what to do. And I think there's so much value in that, in teaching your clients that. So Dakota is new to this as well. She has a great eye for fashion, but I think like in terms of building garments from scratch, like she's kind of new to this. I really want to teach her and you guys that are watching this how to measure a garment pretty simply. It's not as complicated as you think, and this actually allows you to skip a couple steps. When you're building out a clothing brand or just making revisions to something, like let's just say you got your favorite hoodie from a brand that you love and you love wearing it, but there's a couple things you want to change about it, like, hey, I wish it fits looser on the chest or whatever. You know how to make these revisions. So we kind of can start by something which is called high point shoulder, which is exactly how it sounds. You take the highest point of the shoulder and you measure that all the way to the bottom, which is also the body length. So we take the highest point of the shoulder, pretty much right near that neckline, that collar line, and we measure all the way to the bottom of the hem opening. So this hoodie that we have here looks like right around that 22 inches. So the HPS is 22. You can call it HPS or you can call it body length, what do you want to call it. But little things like this, I think are super important when you're building a clothing line, so you know at least the fundamental basics on how to actually build a garment. Whether or not you know fabrics, I think it's important to know how to do your sizing. And then the next thing we have here is just pretty simple. You just kind of measure all dynamics of the garment, the chest. It's kind of like you're building a suit. You measure how long it is, your chest, your arm length, the arm width, the armhole, the back length, everything. All of these little factors. So what I like to do is I like to take a picture of the initial garment, then every step of the way, exactly how you measure the garment and what that measurement is. So you're showing the manufacturer the measurement, but also how you measured it. In case they want to measure it a different way, you can show them like, okay, this is how I measured it, so they at least have an understanding of what you're trying to tell them. And then if it needs to be measured a different way, then you can measure it a different way. So get yourself a tape measure, definitely. and you can buy it anywhere. So because this garment is, normally we just kind of measure the chest. It's called half chest width, which is the diameter, because normally a garment is circular, right? When you measure your chest, you kind of measure all around. So if you're doing half, it at least covers, okay, I just need to double it, which is the circumference. The second piece is, this isn't normally done, but when I look at this garment, I can tell that this hoodie is straight and bowed out on the top. And then as you kind of come down, it kind of like comes inward because it allows like a cinching feeling. So if you want to do that, you should probably measure this as well, take a picture of it, and so the manufacturers can see it. Because if you just do the chest, what they're gonna do is they're gonna build you a hoodie that's like straight down. So it doesn't have this like this suck in feeling that like the girls want. It kind of like cinches in their waist, makes them look more kind of like, it accentuates, tapered, accentuates their physique, things like that. So an understanding right here, right at that like stomach line is 21, just to give you like a little kind of brief measurement, 21, and this chest, the half chest width is almost at 24, so it's like 23 and like 3/4. So that's a 2 3/4 inch difference that like kind of caves in a little bit. So pretty nice. You have that, and then you have your traditional hem opening, which is like how you want this opening to go. It's pretty simple, right? Like, hey, if your opening is big, then it's gonna be a lot of space. If not, it's gonna be small. So we want this one to be kind of sucked in. And then, yeah, so we measure the sleeves, the length of the sleeve, the width of the sleeve, the armhole, which is kind of like right at that, that point is, if you're building an oversized garment, you don't want this to be so high where it's like kind of like riding on your armpit. You want it to be a little bit lower. And sometimes when you're measuring, like kind of going into a little bit of detail here, which is fine, with the shoulder, sometimes you'll notice like garments, even if it's not a drop shoulder, it'll still like kind of bow in on your traps, and it kind of like makes you look a little bit more broad. And sometimes it's because the manufacturer is actually creating like a curvature right at that shoulder line. But of course, with this hoodie, we don't really need it. It's a extreme drop shoulder. As you can tell, the sleeves are pretty short. They just kind of sloped it down to just like add to the actual effect of what this garment is. Hope you love those little tips. Yeah, we'll just continue to kind of give you a little bit more tips along the way, little Easter eggs in our Relay Distro videos.
What's going on, Daniel? What's going on right now?
The creatine just fucking shook me. December has been quite an eventful month for us. Aside from it being Christmas and the holidays and stuff, we've honestly have a lot of people reach out to us, and us just like reaching out to people. So I think we've been having a good amount of momentum in December to close out the year strong, thus hoping to provide a huge 2024. Q1 is normally kind of slow for most businesses, but we're hoping that that is the opposite for us. Like, companies are starting to flock to us to not only do fulfillment, but also do like pro dev as well as like media. So that's the hope. And I'm trying to set a goal that we can bring in 2 clients a month, whether it's fulfillment, whether it's pro dev, or whether it's media, it doesn't really matter. But if we can bring in 24 clients in this upcoming year, that'd be pretty amazing. So,
that's a lot of clients.
Well, we've been on pace to bring in a client a month.
We did bring in a client a month.
Basically, maybe a little bit more. We had like a discussion yesterday talking to my cousin, who is pretty well connected in like the streaming gaming space. So if we could tap into like the streamer / like the esports realm for not only fulfillment but also pro dev, that would be pretty amazing. Then we have someone that's coming in here, a friend of mine for like over a decade, and he owns a record label, so pretty interesting. And then we are starting to get more fitness-based clients, which is our most familiar niche, but they are people that we don't even know, and they don't know us, so that's been pretty awesome. Just coming to us from like referrals, and referrals are way better than outreach. I think there's the referral game is the biggest because there's already a credibility / trust factor already there. So it's not just about like us having to say what we do and prove ourselves. It's already like kind of spoken for. So that ice is already broken. But yeah, I mean, it's been a good Q4. We had a company party.
Yeah, they saw that. That's the lead off to this video.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. So
Good first party. It was fun.
yeah. Hopefully next year we have. I don't know if we need double the staff, but that'll be kind
Nah,
of.
we'll have a bigger staff.
We'll have a bigger staff, but I don't think we need double the staff.
Depends on how.
Yeah.
Depends on how things go.
And then I was setting a goal that like by January we are no longer working out of this office. I want the pro dev to be upstairs. So hopefully we have enough clientele to make it make sense to not rent out the studio anymore. So business models change for us, all the time. And I think that's part of us evolving as a business and understanding like there are certain demands that are bigger and more immediate that can bring us this clientele and more momentum for next year. So I was walking upstairs with Dakota yesterday and was like, hey, we kind of need like a desk like what we have in the meeting room, like upstairs, and just slowly transforming that into like a better space. Because, making our meeting room our extra office runoff it's not ideal, especially when we have clients coming in and we're always having to clear it, and it's not really efficient. Plus, things are getting bigger, and so there's more upkeep for like apparel, fabrics, and the last thing we want is just everything crammed into a cabinet. So maybe we'll run you guys through that transformation, and yeah, hopefully we can achieve that by January.